So Light 'em Up began in my home. I have 2 little girls, and they were 2 and 5, and they were watching all the commercials that happen around Christmas time, and they asked me a simple question that really got in my heart. They said, "What are we getting, Mom?" And it was around November, and I thought, that is not the question I want my kids asking. I wanted to flip the switch, and I wanted them to start asking, what are we giving? And so around November of 2011, I thought, let's flip the switch and do something in our home that would start a new tradition, and we called it Light 'em Up. So I wrote a blog post, and for my friends, I thought maybe my mom was reading at that time, maybe a few friends, and I put up some simple ideas, just about 25 ideas on how we can, one person at a time, go in and light up the communities right around us, from our garbage collectors to our post person. Who are people that never get thanked? And how, as little people in the chaos of life, how can they go out and thank people and just be generous and kind? And guys, it took off. I couldn't believe it. Just for a few friends that we were doing this together right in Atlanta, Georgia. And then all of a sudden I checked my site the next day with no motive to do this, and it went around the world. I saw people emailing me from Dubai and London and Ukraine, and I couldn't believe that actually families like me were wanting the same thing. We want generous kids, we want kind kids, but we're so strapped in the stress of day-to-day life that we don't know how to make it happen. So Light 'em Up struck a chord, and it was really moving to watch it take off. And it was so much bigger than me and so much bigger than all of our families.
I think what it comes down to is you can talk all day long about being generous or giving back, and that's one thing. And those are important discussions to have. But the reality is, if you want to see your children embrace it and live it out, there's nothing like actually physically doing it.
Well, it has just helped take the focus off of ourselves and everything we want and everything we see and all of our busyness, and just really focus on the true spirit of Christmas, which is love and giving, and it's gotten them so excited about it, thinking of our next thing we're going to do.
My girls and then a couple of their cousins were at the house, and they just had this idea they wanted to go wash the neighbors' cars. It was a neat opportunity to watch them get excited about just doing something for other people. So I mean, especially as it relates to our community, just things they want to do for the neighbors, making cookies for the lady across the street who's having surgery, just things like that.
One day, me and my friend Mary Virginia, we went to the dollar store and we got these little plastic baggies and we put some quarters in there, and then we put it on where you could get a toy, and then we did just say Merry Christmas. When we put posters on the trash can.
It kind of makes you feel super happy, and you just are ooh, I did something for somebody. And for me, it makes me I guess it makes me want to do more nice things to people, because you see their reaction and it's that really meant something to them.
So I was home with all 4 boys for the weekend, and I needed something to do. It was the weekend before Christmas, and I could just sense in our spirits, our calendars were full, the to-do lists were long, and there was no space for kindness. And so I looked up Courtney's list. So awesome, it was already done. I didn't have to think of the ideas to do. I sat down with the boys. What do you want to do? What sounds fun to you? And so we picked a few things. I gathered just a couple, some candy canes, some washi tape, printed off the gift tags, had them color them, and we went off to Toys R Us in December, which is crazy. And so we're there, and we decided to start passing out candy canes. And my one son, we were about to leave, and he sees the cashier, and he says, "Can I go give her a candy cane?" And I said, "Sure." So he turns around, he runs back, gives it to her, and I noticed her face lit up. But then I looked at everyone around her, and they were kind of in shock about the kindness. I think everyone's just so turned inward with their lists and where they need to be and all they need to get done. They were kind of shocked that he would take the time to do something special. This time of year, we forget that we've been given so much. The fact that we have life alone, we have breath, we have the ability to look people in the eye, to call them by name, to give them attention, and I think that alone is what Light 'em Up's about.
Light 'em Up is a movement. It's all about kindness and generosity, and it is a tradition for families to go about their busy lives at Christmas, but just change the focus onto others instead of themselves. You start feeling really yucky around the time of the holidays when it's so much about what we're getting, and when it comes about others, it actually becomes contagious and so much fun. So families all around the world are doing this, and we want to invite you to join us. And I think you'll love it, and I think it will become a tradition for you every year.
This little light up.